Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Today I would like to share some thoughts with you about the difference between qualitative research and quantitative research. Let's begin with qualitative research first. Qualitative research is a type of research to explore by going deep into understanding a phenomenon or an event. So it is a kind of research to develop new theories or to generate ideas so that quantitative research can be done in the future. So in qualitative research, researchers normally just state the research questions and not the objectives or the hypothesis. Let's take one good example. Assuming we are to conduct a study about the important factors for online purchasing decision. So depending on how the research is conducted, it can be qualitative or quantitative. Let's talk about the criteria if it were to be qualitative first. In qualitative research, normally the setting is natural. In our example here, in our case here, they are the people and environment around the online purchasing. And number two, in qualitative research, it is descriptive. It just wants to describe important factors. There is no attempt to quantify or measure any phenomenon. And next, in qualitative research, researcher goes deep into the process of seeking the answers from research participants. As such, small samples are sufficient because they are going deep into that particular matter. So let's say interviews are conducted with open-ended questions so that any possible answers can come out from the research participants. In our example here, let's say participants may say important factors to them like internet accessibility, the number of advertisements, the user friendliness of the website, the convenience of payment, and anything that comes out from them. You can see in this case that it is not predicting the outcome, but rather it is expecting any possible answers to come out from the research participants freely. Therefore, process is more of a concern rather than the outcome in the qualitative research. While there is no attempt to quantify, there is also no attempt to predict anything. And lastly, in qualitative research, it is inductive. It is based on experiments where existing models, theories, frameworks may not yet exist or are still growing. If those are the criteria for qualitative research, what about for quantitative research? So let me just expand the very same example, the important factors for online purchasing decision. Let's say over time, more interests are developed in this area of research. We find the theories around it begin to grow and mature as more researchers embark on this topic. So that's when the quantitative researchers are attempting to predict and quantify this phenomenon. When predicting, they generate hypotheses in order to verify existing theories. So it begins with generating hypotheses first. And then later, what does the researcher do? The researcher will try to quantify. So to quantify, researchers will use numerical data and analyze using statistics. The sample has to be massive in order to achieve generalization. Now, for example, in the research about important factors for online purchasing decision, researchers may hypothesize that higher income groups are more likely to purchase online. There is no significant difference. Another hypothesis, there is no significant difference in purchasing decision between a more user-friendly websites as opposed to less user-friendly websites. Next hypothesis, he may come up with, due to natural shopping habit, women are more likely to purchase online than men. And another hypothesis says there is no significant relationship between the number of advertisements and the online purchasing decision. So how does the researcher know these facts? Actually, they are not the facts yet. The knowledge that the researcher has about these predictions are based on the existing theories about the online purchasing decision. So in other words, he has the knowledge about this theory, and then he predicts the situation, and then he generates the hypothesis after predicting that. So what does he do with this hypothesis? And then he will try to prove whether this hypothesis is true or not. So the next step is that he would quantify the data. So in the first hypothesis that I talked to you earlier, let's say higher income group are more likely to purchase online. So that is the prediction. So that is the hypothesis. So how does he quantify that? So the data can be quantified by analyzing various income levels and relate to the frequency of purchasing online. And let's talk about the next hypothesis that he comes up earlier, when he says there is no significant relationship between the number of advertisements and the online purchasing decision. So that is the prediction. So he generates the hypothesis. So later, he quantifies by comparing various websites with different number of advertisements and relate to users' frequency of online purchasing. So you can see that compared to qualitative researchers, these are the features from the examples that I shared with you earlier. We can summarize quantitative researchers as to generate hypotheses based on the existing knowledge about a theory, to measure and test these theories, to structure the survey questions in a manner to support the hypothesis. So it is opposite to open-ended questions in qualitative research. And finally, large samples are required so as to represent population. So I hope that by now you are clear about the basic differences between qualitative research and quantitative research. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till I see you again, cheers.